All right, welcome back, kings and queens. Today we are talking, y'all, the YouTube beef of it all when content creators clash. And I am talking about funkydineva and Tasha K. Listen, I may be a day late and a dollar short, but I needed to get in on this one. Your girl was cruising and saw Tasha K shade the hell out of funkydineva, and I was gagged. And I'm not gonna lie, she read him down. She read him down. And Funky, if we have to be honest, you deserve that one. You deserve that one because you came out, you said you were going to slap the ish out of her on sight. You promised that it would happen when you saw her, and then you challenged her husband to do something. She sat back in the cut, meaning Tasha K. She waited, and when the time came, she took her shot. She was precise because it was a nasty read. When I tell you she read him down for filth, she did just that, and we are going to talk about it. Period. Point blank. Listen, I was gagged. I didn't even know Tasha had it in her. When I tell you I was gagged, I did not know Tasha had it in her. And not only that, I do believe Tasha called the correct play because she called you out. And I've been saying this for a while. I told y'all, I said it before, I'll say it again. This does not apply to everyone, but there's some gatekeepers out there, y'all. And Funky just may have played himself by hanging and hooking horns with Carlos King. We're going to talk about it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to play this audio, right? I'm going to play this audio of funkydineva, and I'm going to utilize it to critique, to give my live recap, my thoughts in real time, right? Because he says, listen, he told us, clip up this video, make it go viral. Okay. You ain't got to threaten me with a good time. I am going to do just that. Tasha also called out funkydineva and Carlos King for utilizing Black women and the coattails of Black women, right? This is she insinuated that they've used Black women to get them where they need to go, and then they kind of forget about them or shit on them, right? Um, Now I know a couple of days after Tasha's read, she came back out and she rescinded or clarified what she meant. She said Carlos did not steal anything from Funky. He didn't have to. She called Funky a junkie. She said that he'd rather get high and do drugs and drink as opposed to be dedicated and committed to his work. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I do know this. His strategy, his cadence works for him. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to focus on first is I want to focus on Funky saying that he wants to get the band back together as it relates to Fox Soul. Him, Claudia Jordan, and Al Reynolds. Now, me personally as a woman, you don't get a second chance with me. The way he talked about Claudia, the way he dogged Claudia out, the negative stigmatism that you tried to put on her name and stereotype her as a male, as a gay hater, and you bashed her. When you left, you bashed her. You came for her throat. You tried to put everybody against her. And this is the perfect reason. Listen, sometimes you cannot help people. Sometimes you're just better off wishing them well and moving on about your business, because Claudia did do an excellent job of carving out a space in mainstream media for Black gay males. She did that. We're going to talk about it, but let's get into Funky's audio first, and we're going to walk through it in real time.
I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all. Black China just recently did an interview with Ra Ali, and let me say this out loud, and I want this video to go viral, and I'm gonna clip it and send it to Ra Ali. Let me be perfectly honest. When Michelle B told me I was doing an interview over there with Ra Ali, I wasn't super duper excited. Like, I respected her as somebody in the business, and I was like, okay, how can I leverage meeting her? Ra is of a certain socioeconomic status. She does have access. She does know people. So I was like, don't get me wrong, it'll never hurt me to have some sort of relationship with Ra, but I'm not going to pretend like I was overjoyed about running over there to do a Raw Ali interview, especially because I've been in this space for 14 years, and Raw Ali, as far as I'm concerned, she's not tried and true and war tested in this celebrity gossip space. Even
Boom. And neither is Carlos King. Neither is Carlos King. And that's what I'm talking about, the gatekeeping of it all. It may have taken you 14 years, but that doesn't necessarily mean it takes somebody else 14 years. That's the first thing. That's the first thing, because God can do a lot with a hard worker. And you say you've been tried and true for 14 years. It took you 14 years because you had a lot of distractions. You were hooked on substances. Your life was completely out of order. That may have been and was supposed to be a 40-day journey in the desert for you, but it took you 14 years. So just because you had to hang out for 14 years before you got your spot, your opportunity, and your shine doesn't mean that that rule applies to everybody else. And number two, who in the hell are you? Who are you to determine or to position yourself to be the judge and the jury to determine whether someone is qualified or not? So that was the first thing. That's a lot of negativity that you put around her. You could have, and I know his channel is to share, but sometimes there's such a thing as oversharing that puts a bad taste in other people's mouth. Why is it that when it comes to her as a Black woman, you really wasn't excited because you felt like she wasn't qualified to be in the same room as you? That's basically what you're saying. All right, let's continue.
even though she's been a subject of celebrity gossip for so long. After sitting down and doing her interview, I have to eat all of my words. Number one, me and Raw Ali have one of those raw chemistries together that are just lightning in a bottle. The same
All right, may be true. See, you underestimated her. And when you showed up in real time, she was able to, according to you, to do a magnificent job. And I saw the interview. Initially, I could tell there was a little bit of tension in the room. I didn't know why. It was just something, the ebb and the flow initially when the interview first started, it just wasn't there. And now, based on what he's sharing, it sounds like it took him some time to thaw out because he didn't feel like he really wanted to be there. He didn't feel like she was up to par to sit next to him. He you was a hater. Let's just say you was a hater. You were gatekeeping. You didn't feel like she earned her keep in this space, and you were resistant to lean in. And you fucked around and you found out that there's a lot of people that are just as qualified as you to do a great job. So not only that, you had to loosen up your buttons, baby. Hmm. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight because she was able to overwhelm you with her skill set.
the same way me, Al, and Claudia have lightning in a bottle. And let me go ahead and say this. Since this nigga got my head all wide open, I'm feeling real vulnerable. I am not remotely operating in my ego right now, and I'm just telling the 100% truth. I want to get the band back together.
I wish the hell you would, Claudia. I wish the hell you would, Claudia. Now, I'm neutral on Claudia. I'm neutral on Al. I'm neutral on Funky. But as a woman, I wish the hell you would let somebody disrespect you, man or woman, call you out your name, call you bitch, threaten to out you, and then say, we had lightning in a bottle, and today I'm not operating in my ego. Well, good for you. Good for you. Because sometimes what it takes is for people to learn an expensive lesson. And a lot of people believe that if they sabotage your efforts, that the band will not go on without them. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Hook, line, and sink. Carlos King snoozed up to you, cozied up to you, hung out with you, made you feel lovable, capable, probably got the inside scoop, got the ball, scored a touchdown, took Claudia, took Dustin, and I wouldn't be shocked if they're trying to work up something, cook up something in the background to get a network deal. This is how you F around and you find out one monkey literally does not stop the show.
Okay? The band. I want to get me, Claudia Jordan, and Al Reynolds back together. I feel like a failure in the sense that I watched too many episodes of Unsung and saw how ego caused groups that could have gone far to fall apart.
So if we can be honest, we can assume that we're talking about your ego. I don't think it's love that has you feeling this way. I'm going to go with what you're saying. I'm going to assume that as you were watching Unsung and you were able to see, normally it's one ego, right? And as we continue to move along through this audio and him talking, he's going to say the problem was Claudia and Al, and I beg to differ. It was your ego. And I think you had an epiphany while watching Unsung and you realized that you were the problem. You were the problem. It hit you in a moment that it needed to hit you. And you realized that you fucked up. You ruined a good thing. And not only did you ruin a good thing, you attacked that lady for nothing. You tried to smear her name, create a campaign against her. And you really did not do her justice. You gave her your ass to kiss on the way out the door. You gave her a big fat F you, and it was unfair to her. Because I do believe that although Claudia may have her irks and her quirks, we all do, that her heart was really in the right place when it came to you. And I think your ego got you in a place where you thought you was going to run shit as it related to her project. You can't come in and run shit in somebody else's house. And a lot of us try to do that. We've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen it. And it never works. You were trying to maybe pull the rug from underneath her feet. You and Al, you created a smear campaign against her professionally, behind the scenes, with HR, and also publicly. You took your numbers and tried to work against her and flip the house against her. And that's not cool. You were the ego in this dynamic.
And I always vowed to myself that that would never be me. And I fucked around and I allowed it to be me. Outside of what some of our personal issues were, I think that ego was the driving force in TGIF collapsing from the cat.
I agree. And that's why you cannot take everybody with you. And that's a lesson that I'm learning. You better check under the hood, kick the tire twice, and keep your grass cut low so you can know where the snakes are. You try to take down a woman that was kind enough to bring you on board. And I'm not sure, and I don't know if you will ever get that type of opportunity again. Claudia was your shield. Let's just talk about it. When you think about the likes of funkydineva, I like him as a content creator, but is he mainstream television as a black gay male? His looks, his demeanor, is he polished enough? Is he reliable? Is he sustainable? Can a network depend on him to carry a show? No. No, no, no. You are not a solo artist, but you work very well within an ensemble and you are a great standout. You're a high level contributor, but you are not the lead. And you convinced yourself that you were the lead. And on your way out the door, you try to fucking burn her house down. And it backfired on you in the most beautiful way. And when I say the most beautiful way, it hit you when you were alone at home. Now you're associating it with love, but I think you realize that you're now at a place in your life, you're going to have to continue to carry yourself, and you may have burned a few bridges along the way.
Past perspective. Now, from the corporate perspective, then white folks trap me about my money, and that's a whole nother conversation. But
And we're talking $200. You could have sat on your ego, took it, kept the band intact, or even if you decided to go, you went kicking and screaming, and you fucked up a show for everybody. Everybody. I can't get with that. I can't respect that. And that's not specific to Funky. If you don't want to be in the band, I always encourage people close the doors quietly. Therefore, should you need to go back through that door, man, I'm telling you, should the time ever come that you need to go back through that door, which it seems like you do want to go back through that door, the door is open because you left quietly. You left respectfully. You left everything intact, but you didn't do that. Claudia would be a fool to sit next to you again.
But when the time is right, and I'm just putting it out there, I haven't talked to Al in a while. I haven't talked to Claudia in a while. I don't know where they are. I don't know if those two would ever be willing to work with each other again.
Don't put that on them. I don't know if those two would ever be willing to work with you again. And I know Claudia and Al probably have their thing. But you were the one that disrupted it. So now you're putting yourself in this godlike complex as if you're the one. and the only one that's capable of fixing it. I do think you have ego. And I think all of us have a little bit of ego that we need in order to get out here, be great content creators. But don't you ever overestimate your influence and your power, because the show will go on with or without you. As we can see on Monday nights, Carlos King snagged your leading lady. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a deal coming up soon.
Considering the way that things out, but I'm just putting this out loud. Considering the fact that me, Al Reynolds, and Claudia Jordan had lightning in a bottle, I would 100% be open to a situation where all three of us walk into a network or a collaboration with the understanding that nobody is higher than the other person.
Who are you to call the shots? And that's what I'm talking about. Come down from there, Funky. You're way too high. Come down from there, Funky. You are way too high. You cannot sit on your platform and say, here's the deal. Here's what I'm willing to take. I'm willing to work with Claudia, Al, only under these conditions. We all will walk in with equal equity and power. That may not be what the network wants. That may not be what the network needs. You don't get to fucking call the shots after you push the envelope off the table. Come down from there. Sit back. Humble thyself. Put it out there that you do want to work with them and leave it at that. The logistics can be talked about offline and behind the scenes. But who are you? Who are you to get on your platform, manipulate the situation, and then say, here's the final offer? I think the hell not. I think the hell not. You had your opportunity to shine and you didn't deem it valuable when you had it. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on.
Nobody is in charge. We are all getting paid equally, and let's get to work.
Absolutely not. Claudia is mainstream television. You're not. Al Reynolds, you know, but Claudia, you should not. I mean, Funky, I don't see a situation where you will be getting paid the same as Claudia, because you don't have the television experience that she has. So how can you assume that you are going to walk into a situation and demand that your salary needs to be the same as hers? Number one, you're not the one that got the deal going. Claudia is a savvy businesswoman. She's capable. She knows how to navigate throughout media, social media, huge platforms. She's done it before. She'll do it again. She started off on The Price is Right. Who in the hell are you to say this is how it needs to be done? No, that wasn't even your project. That was her baby. That was her baby. You were just invited to play.
Claudia Jordan and Al Reynolds, my agent Tracy Christian is ready to pitch the show to any one of them networks whenever the fuck y'all hoes ready to get it together and get on the same goddamn page.
I wish the fuck I would if I were one of them. That sounds like Latasha Scott wanting Rocky to be the manager and the agent. No, you're too unstable, Funky. You're very volatile as it relates to your emotions. You cannot contain yourself, and you will burn down the house rather than allow somebody else to make it to the top. And I just, I don't think you're good for business where I would be comfortable utilizing your agent. Hell no. They're asking for trouble.
Let's not let ego and attitude keep us from the damn money. Here is the deal I am proposing. Neither one of us are in charge. Neither one of us are executive producers, or we're all executive producers.
No.
Everybody walk in with their ego and their pride.
No, there's no way. There is no way I would sign up for that kind of deal. There's no way that no, you cannot ride her coattail and expect to be an executive producer when you don't have that type of experience. We've seen Claudia on television. We've seen her on reality shows. We've seen her on The Price is Right. We've seen her at galas as a host, interviewing. No, you don't even have access to some of the people, places, and things that she has access to. Who are you to think that just because this is where she was, and if you're going to work with her, you need to be there too? Earn it. Prove it.
To the side. Everybody got separate dressing rooms. Nobody is friends outside of the show. We do the goddamn show and get to the money. Now, we just throwing it out there. I'm open to it. Y'all need to figure out y'all shit, because I don't do. And part of the reason why I left is because y'all was fighting too much. Y'all figure y'all shit out. I can have Tracy do what it do. I knew WeTV was looking for a show.
If you could have Tracy do what it do, Tracy would have made it do what it do with you as a solo artist. I think you fucked around and you found out. And in the midnight hour, you realize that your help cometh from the hills. Your help cometh from the hills. All of us. Can't nobody do nothing by themselves. We all need somebody in one realm or the other. And you can be a one man show on YouTube, but that's probably about as good as it gets in that dimension for you. But it sounds like y'all, he has different aspirations and goals, and it's just now hitting him. That's crazy to me. Personalities and people that learn so fucking hard. I steer away from people that have to learn so hard, so loud, so wrong, so disruptive in order to get it. Baby, if you got to do all that just to get it and it hits you 2 to 3 years later, ain't nobody got time to waste when we could have been, child.
To make it do what it do. We can even go back around there to where we can't go back around there where we left. But I'm just.
Who fucks up a television deal with Fox and then say, let's go to a different network? You had the money in the bag. Now, because you say so, let's go to it. You had the network. You had them right there. And you personalized everything. And you were disruptive. You turned it into a catastrophic response. It was an overkill, unnecessary, because you thought that you could and you would. And you ruined that show for them. And you laughed about it. And you said that you hoped they didn't make it. And they didn't. Now everybody's picked up their rocks, their marbles. They're all moving about the cabin. They're trying to find their rightful places and moving forward. And now you think you can come up in this motherfucker and blow the whistle and say, come back. Now I'm ready. Child, please.
I'm vulnerable right now because this nigga got me. RLF got me vulnerable right now. Now is the perfect time for y'all to ask me whatever y'all want to ask me because this nigga got my nose so far up in the clouds, you might get the answer.
Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Because when the time and the price was right, you were evil as it relates to that working dynamic, that working collaboration, what could have been. And you know what? Here's the thing about it. There's always bigger and better. I wish nothing but the best for Claudia and Al and Funky. But I don't know if people would be open to work with you. You see, Carlos King didn't put you in the dynamic. Or maybe he offered. I don't know. But we don't slam doors around here. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Somebody said, did you figure things out with Claudia? I don't have nothing to figure out with Claudia.
That tone in and of itself, girl, bye. That tone, I don't have nothing to figure out. Bitch, yes, you do. You got a lot to figure out with Claudia. You drug that lady.
Me and Claudia got it the most in terms of, girl, we here at work. Me and Claudia got it the most. Me and Claudia never had a previous friendship before the show. It was her and Al that had a deep friendship, whatever the case may be. Nevertheless, let me tell you something. I'm open to all opportunities.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to have my solo shit going on. I got my studio being built in the commercial space.
As you should.
But if the right situation falls in place, there's nothing stopping me from going back to work with Al.
But here's the thing. It's your, according to word on the street, it's your ego, your nastiness. When you feel like you are the author and the finisher of a project, that the shit could not work without you. That's the part. How much of a threat would you pose on Mad Day? Now, we know your nose is open today. And we know that you got somebody that got you feeling yourself. But what about tomorrow and the next day and the next year when it's not such a good day for Funky Dineva?
And Claudia. And I don't need nobody to twist this. Please, I don't need no blog. Funky Dineva ain't got no, that's not what it is. What I'm saying is I've matured, I'm getting older, and I realize that at the end of the day, get to the money. And if we got to put parameters in place that go, we ain't friends, we don't talk to each other, we simply do the damn show and go on about our business to get.
And he's right. He's right, but he's right. You don't have to be friends to get to the bag. I tell people that all the time. Shit, I can work with anybody. That's the attitude you need to have. As long as you're decent, you're respectful, you show up, you got a good work ethic, let's go. We ain't got to be best friends because we're on the set, but you damn show cannot smear my name and walk around here trying to tear down what I'm trying to put together. You don't have to be friends, Black people. You don't have to be friends, white people, women, men. Can you get to the bag? Are you business savvy enough? Are you developed enough to be able to sit down, work on a project, be cordial, be nice, be kind without trying to force open any doors that don't open on their own? A lot of us cannot. And Funky is an example of that. And you learn the hard way. He learned the hard way, and it didn't take all that. It didn't take all of that of what he did.
Get to the multi-million-dollar bag, then let's get to the bag. That's where I'm at with it. That's called maturity. As around here, while Shannon Sharp around here losing whole deals over there over 19-year-olds, bitch, I'm finna form a deal with some overgrown ass.
But you lost a deal. You lost a deal. And even though it was not a multi-million-dollar deal, we all have to crawl before we walk. You were on your way. So you can't talk about Shannon without looking at yourself and say, damn, I fucked up that deal. That's crazy. I don't know if that bus or if that opportunity will ever come back around. I don't know. But I think people will be hesitant to work with you.
As 50-year-olds. Okay. So y'all go ahead and flood out Claudia Jordan comments, flood out Al comments, and make it do what it do. They say 205.
Child. I don't know. Hold on, y'all. So Tasha took to her platform and responded to Funky, rightfully so. And when I tell you she read him for filth, 8 down, 8 down. And, I don't know. I don't know. She actually made a lot of sense regarding his
ugly. I am very upset at Mr. Funkydineva's funky attitude. Okay. When I'm talking about self-sabotage, when I tell you he's along the lines of what Kaya used to do, because Kaya used to be a bad self-sabotage. If you wanted to put self-sabotage like a face in the dictionary, it would be him. Why you ain't apologized to Blue yet? Blue pretty. You're not.
Oh. Oh.
Blue is gorgeous. I ain't never thought Blue was ugly. I don't even know where people got that from. Like, I always thought Blue was a beautiful little baby. She looked like her daddy, but just a cute version of her daddy.
Now, if I'm correct, if my memory serves me correct, I think she may be referring to a time in the past where Funky Dineva may have allegedly referred to Blue Ivy as ugly or nappy headed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Now she looks like Beyonce. Would they say clock that, fish? Yeah, I'm just using their language. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna share something with y'all that I've never shared amongst the public.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I know he sit up there, he talks a good game. And he's always talking about how degreed he is and how this he is and how that he is. But when I tell you this is the most insecure, emotionally unstable man I have ever met in my life.
I will say she has a good point with the volatile emotional outburst where he can go from 0 to 100. Now, that comes with his persona. That's a part of the package. That doesn't bother me, right? Because to me, I look at it as entertainment. However, I can see how it can impact the people around him that are challenged or forced to work with him.
And that's why they would threaten to slap women for pointing out the obvious of dirty baseboards when you post a picture of your pants around your nasty, skinny, burnt ankles with shit streaks on the wall, and you want to say that shiplap.
What?
And shiplap is high gloss, and all you got to do is take a Clorox wipe.
Lord have mercy.
Sir.
Lord have mercy.
All you got to do is take a Clorox wipe in your bathroom, or, Mr. Rich, a maid.
That's true now. She makes a good point because Funky did share on Raw on his one-on-one interview with Raw Ali that his YouTube checks can range between, I think he said 37,000, 33,000 on a worst month, all the way up to $87,000. Kudos to you. But if you know you're not a cleanly person, go ahead and get a maid. Invest that money.
Ensure that your housekeeper goes across that shiplap in between the cracks of that shiplap and on the corners and the edges of the baseboards. Because as women, those are the things that we look at.
Oh, yes.
Especially when you're trying to be one.
Oh, girl, Tasha, she makes a good point. Most women, not all, Tasha. Most women are pretty clean. Not all, though. So Funky, she's basically saying, since you, well, no, Tasha, I'm gonna have to correct you. He said nobody wants to be y'all. He said nobody wants to be a black woman. So Tasha, I'm gonna have to remind you of that.
Told me personally that he was Foxo. Am I lying, Jasmine? She can't say the mic, but she's over there. He sabotaged the show for a mere $200.
I think the $200 was an excuse. He sabotaged the show because he didn't like Claudia. I think he doesn't like black women. I think he has a disdain for black women because of his relationship with his late mother, right? And he's been very, very descriptive about that love-hate relationship. And I don't know if they were able to get on one accord prior to her passing, but he seems to have, on a bad day, on a mad day, a lot of shit to say about black women when he's not in love.
Foxo is not here because he wanted $200 extra in addition to his YouTube check. So this man was getting paid close to what? $200,000 a year?
Yeah.
Easy? Going live 5 days a week? Plus, he should be making minimum $200,000. That's $400,000 a year for a black gay man.
That's a lot of money. And let me tell you why. I don't think there's a lot of opportunities for black gay men to shine on television, syndicated shows, whether we're talking radio, media. And I think that's why she pointed that out. Listen, you were damn near close to grossing $500,000 a year. And because you got in your feelings behind we talking $200, you decided to sabotage the entire effort of the group, burn down the damn house on your way out the door.
That's allowed to do coke whenever he wants to do it.
Oh, Tasha. Damn, Tasha. Oh, Tasha telling all his business.
To go down to the bar every day and show up on air with boogers in his nose.
God dang. Gosh dang. Y'all.
All day. And this is what y'all get. And he wanted that extra $200 and sabotage that show. You don't even have a man in there that gives you loyalty. But he has one now.
Give me one second.
And so now,
hold on. Because you know I have to do the math. Damn. We're talking $200 per year that he decided to slam the door on the Fox project. Y'all, that is $7.69 extra per paycheck if they were being paid on a bi-weekly basis. Really, Funky?
Now that he's inspired and he's able to love himself because somebody is loving on him because he never had the type of energy to love on himself, now he's having an epiphany and realized that YouTube ain't paying the way that they used to pay. And here's what he's saying now. Go, Jasmine.
Damn. That was a very straightforward read. And I'm listening to what she says. I'm glad I'm listening to it a second time. What she's saying, it really takes somebody else to come in from the outside and love you, and which you should have been loving yourself, appreciating yourself, having good hygiene, keeping your home clean. So it actually takes somebody else to come in and make you feel a way that you should have been making yourself feel, for you to wake up one day and say, I messed up. This is the life that I really supposed to be living, that I'm really supposed to be living. I don't know.
My
Listen
ego
to him
right now, and I'm just telling the 100% truth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get the band back together.
Tasha is a fool.
Okay?
Tasha
the band.
is a fool.
I want to get me, Claudia Jordan, and Al Reynolds back together. I feel like a failure in the sense that I watched too many episodes of Unsung and saw how ego caused groups that could have gone far to fall apart.
Look at Tasha.
And I always vowed to myself that would never be me.
And I
fucked around and I allowed it to be me.
Yeah.
Outside of what some of our personal issues were, I think that ego was the driving force in TGIF.
Not just ego, because some of us have kind of leaned a little bit more into our ego than we should. Baby, you was downright vindictive, nasty, hurtful. All that nasty shit that you said and did that you could have held to yourself. You did and said way too much. Did and said way too much unnecessarily.
Collapsing.
I agree with that because that was
Pause. Ego, I'm so glad. I don't know what woke him up. He said he got some new dick that woke him up.
Oh,
he said it's loving on him. That new dick probably needs more money. Got with funkydineva because he thought funkydineva was a lot famous than he thought he was, and that money is.
Now I ain't gonna shit on the man's paycheck because he's doing a lot better than a lot of people financially. He earns it and he shows up consistently, Tasha. So we can't shit on his paycheck.
You've had 14 years, Funky. When it comes to Funky, like, I just don't know what this newfound epiphany is. Like, did you know that Fox Soul was getting ready to syndicate Claudia, Al, and Funky to television? And so when they went to film and they were in studio together, they were giving them, like, it was kind of like their pilot episode to see how they
Damn. In my Florida Evans voice. I think he realized, I think sometimes it takes time. I think he may be, like he said, he's getting older. He's in a different place in his life. Love don't live here anymore. The men are coming far and few in between. He starts to realize, he said it in his one-on-one interviews. He said it a couple of times jokingly on his Instagram. He's having to pay for things. He is the author and the finisher of his faith. He notices that every time people come over to eat, he's the one that's leaning in. And I think he's trying to find his tribe. That's what I think.
Meshed well, they filmed well. This is around the time when Funky was saying that he was the show and, I carry that show and nobody will watch it without me. And, he was trying to prove his value instead of just renegotiating whenever they moved you to television. You couldn't wait because they were slated. Like Claudia, I got to give Claudia credit. Claudia worked her ass off to get the show to where it was. He couldn't have done it.
She did, and we're going to give her props for that. Claudia walked in. We're not the same. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. When people say we're not the same, I don't take that as an attack. I don't take that as a slight. I don't take that as shade. We're all different. We're all unique. We all possess different traits, different qualities. Claudia is television. Claudia is likable. She's approachable. She has the face to look that most people, most executives feel comfortable with having her at the table as it relates to negotiations, business, and contract. Ain't nobody trying to have funky ass Dineva, and I don't mean that in a shady way. Who? Funky Dineva. What is he known for? And as they begin to click Google and look you up, oh no, that's not the face of the brand that most people would want. Claudia worked her ass off, and she pulled in 2 Black gay men, and it didn't work for her. It did not work for her. And they stabbed her in the back. And then they tried to do the same with Armand and talk him into going against her.
He couldn't have gotten through those doors. Claudia did. That's what her light skinnedness was for.
Not because of her skin tone. Tasha, I don't believe that. I believe it's her wherewithal, her savviness, her articulation. She can facilitate conversations. I don't think it's just because she's light skinned.
Too. Unless she was willing to bend over.
Oh.
But from the looks of things, they said nobody wants to bend him over.
Oh. Oh. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Let's continue.
Claudia been in this industry for years. Let her work. Let her scratch her cat so y'all can eat. My God. And now
Tasha, now you done hold on. What you mean let her scratch her cat? What the hell does that mean? You mean, now you just gave the lady a compliment. Are you trying to say that Claudia has to go in and sit on a casting couch just to be able to get these contracts and these projects? Is that what she's saying? Y'all help me out. Help Queen Sheba out.
Now you want to bring the bandwagon back together after you sabotaged it. Y'all would still be here if you didn't get greedy and needed more money for your dealer. We wouldn't be here. You've been
Oh,
accused of stealing from your friends. Michelle
damn.
ATL that helped you, put you on, got your channel monetized. I done helped you to get your channel remonetized.
Damn.
And stepped on every black woman's back that you could to get there. Thought you was the one singing and was the lead singer of the group that ran doing I don't.
Yeah, you did run out there, Funky Dineva, and you ran your mouth publicly about what you thought your value was at Fox. And you fucked around and found out.
Runs like Latasha Scott and then ran your ass out the group. Now you want to come back because you done got some good dick that just need a little bit more money because he thought you was worth just a little bit more money. Man, go to therapy. Take your ass to therapy. You are too old to be out here acting like this.
And what I want to do is put this into perspective because I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Be careful of trying to burn somebody else's house down on your way out the door because you could essentially be burning down your own house. That's it. That's all.